Now that we are officially closing our 7-year hiatus, which we didn't really know was a hiatus because they are now back, let's talk about Karen Page.
He's your friend, and you cared for him, and he broke your trust.
Yeah, well, stop agreeing with me. It's making it worse.
Can I get your drink?
And he knows I nodded.
Karen Page was introduced in the comics in April of 1964, and she existed in the comics for a few decades before she met her untimely end in 1999. And she's one of the few comic characters that haven't come back since their death, and they kind of fridged her a little bit. Karen was a smart girl raised in Vermont, and after graduating from university, she worked as a secretary for Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdoc, two lawyers who owned a law firm in Manhattan, quickly earning the favor of both men because they definitely fancied her. Her first comic villain run-in is with the Purple Man, also known as Zebediah Kilgrave, also known as one of the scariest Marvel villains to me personally. I would like him back as soon as possible.
That's my car.
Children should be seen and not heard. Or better still, not seen and not heard. Get into that closet.
If David Tennant is still filming Good Omens, is Matthew Lillard gonna be the Purple Man? Is that too on the nose? Are they recasting him?
I always come back.
We don't know. When Kilgrave was captured after a bank heist, he was assigned Matt Murdoc to defend him in court, but quickly dismissed him because he had no intention of going to jail. Shortly after, he used his powers, pheromone control, to seduce Karen Page. Matt realized he had no legal cause to persecute Kilgrave because you can't really say it's illegal to persuade people to do what you want. But he realized he was immune to Kilgrave's powers, so fighting him as Daredevil was on the table. Because if you can't do it legally, why not do the Daredevil thing? Especially when your only plan is to put a recorder in your billy club and hope that he confesses to doing the crime. Anchored by this, Kilgrave gets Karen to attempt to jump off of the Ritz Plaza Hotel, but thankfully Matt saves her before she can do that. And he's able to save the day, draping a chemically soaked blanket on top of Kilgrave so he can't use his powers. I don't know what it is with old Marvel, but they used to just be like, if you're wet, you can't use your powers, because they did it to Loki too. That doesn't work with Loki anymore, at least with Kilgrave it makes sense because of the pheromone thing, but I digress. One day, Foggy Nelson tried to order a costume for Daredevil from a local costumer named Melvin Potter. And why did he do this? Because he knew that Karen was fond of Daredevil and he wanted to pretend to be Daredevil to get her favor or get to date her. He even went as far as to set up a mock battle between himself and the costume designer so he could win and look cool in front of Karen. But when he went to go have this battle, the costumer, now dressed as the gladiator, decided he wasn't gonna let him win, and the battle was stopped by the real Daredevil. And Karen didn't care about the fight until the real Daredevil showed up anyway, so that didn't really work in Foggy's favor. They're kind of like at odds, Matt and Karen, on like if they actually have feelings for each other, even though Karen has confessed to him already. He has feelings for her, so I don't know what's so hard about it. But they do eventually start dating. After repeatedly being kidnapped, she does break up with Matt Murdoc and move to LA to try to be an actress. She manages to get a few roles in TV shows and even has a premiere in New York where she tries to call Matt to reconcile. But a lady answers the phone and she realizes that Matt might have moved on and tries to move on herself by dating her agent. Only to break up with her agent when he proposes to her to go back to Matt, but she also ends up breaking up with him again because she's so worried about losing him to Daredevil all the time and the Daredevil shenanigans all the time. But life didn't slow down for Karen when she got back to LA. She met Johnny Blaze, yes, the Ghost Rider, and was kidnapped once again only to be rescued by Matt and the Ghost Rider. She then hit her rock bottom in LA, becoming a drug addict, developing a drug addiction and selling out Daredevil's identity just to get her fix. This information ended up getting in the hands of Wilson Fisk, who murdered anybody who had the information, and that included going after bother her. He also used this information to ruin Matt's life, but she managed to get away and get back to New York thanks to a drug dealer named Paulo Scorsese. She found help in Foggy, but Paulo followed them back to Foggy's apartment. Karen knocked out Foggy to try to make it so Paulo couldn't hurt him, and gave up herself to Paulo to try to defuse the situation, only for Matt to take him out for her. After this incident, the two of them built a life together in Hell's Kitchen. Karen started to work on her drug addiction, and when she was on the mend, she started to arrange a legal help clinic, her herself running a hotline for people with suicidal ideation and drug addiction problems. When Matt was seduced by Typhoid Mary, who was under Kingpin's instructions to break Matt Murdoc's heart, Karen wasn't told about it, only finding out after Matt went missing in action. And she was led to believe that Typhoid Mary and Matt Murdoc's relationship was bigger than it actually had been. When he finally returned, he tried to explain everything to Karen, and they reconciled their relationship. Though Karen was reluctant, she decided to give him another try. And once they get settled into dating once more, Matt fakes his own death. During this time, Matt donned a lot of different Daredevil costumes, leading Karen to have hope that maybe one of these Daredevils that were showing up was actually him. And Karen and Foggy found out that Matt was back because they had found him in his apartment, and after he explained all the reasons why he had faked his own death, they started dating again. She moved to LA after her trial to work at a radio station, and 6 months later she was diagnosed as HIV positive. But it was actually all a scheme from Mysterio, who was in disguise as her doctor and didn't actually know if she was or wasn't HIV positive. All of this hoping that if Mysterio manipulated enough of Matt Murdoc's friends, it would drive him insane. Taking on the alias of Nicholas Maccabee and telling her that Matt Murdoc was taking care to protect a baby that pretty much gave everyone around it bad luck and was the Antichrist, essentially. And that this baby was the reason she had HIV because it brought bad luck to everybody around it. Cool. Alright. Okay. So she asked Matt if she could help take care of this baby with him, and he hadn't told Karen about this baby, so he was a little skeptical about it. Mysterio then hired an assassin to collect the baby and kill everyone in the building that wasn't Daredevil. And he did, killing nuns and witnesses and anybody who wasn't Matt. Karen got the baby out with the help of Sister Maggie and used a figure from the church as a decoy to distract Bullseye. And when he saw through her trick, they fought a little, and Karen took his discarded gun and pointed it at him and tried to shoot him as she tried to escape with the baby. Bullseye used Matt's billy club and threw it at him, and Karen Page jumped in front of it and it impaled her, and she died in Matt's arms in that church. And her last words to him were, "I'll miss you," which really hurt because she's not been back since, so she's not one of the like magically revived Marvel characters. Her funeral was attended by friends and superheroes alike, but Foggy couldn't make it because he was in jail. But the baby that she saved ended up getting her name in her honor. While Daredevil has parodied these comic scenes in the Netflix series, it's very likely that we will see Foggy or Karen die at the hands of Bullseye because the clips have kind of already been teased over the last few days. Ouch. 7 years of waiting for their return and we might lose one of them in like the first few episodes. It's so rude. And while some things in Karen Page's origin story haven't aged well or they seem like she might have been fridged, I'm very excited she's had time to thrive in the Netflix version of the show, and hopefully we'll get to continue to thrive in this upcoming addition to this show. But if you like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you're most excited about in Daredevil Born Again, and I will see you guys next time. If you like this, be sure to like and comment and subscribe and hit that bell icon to know when we post more videos, and I will see you guys later. Stay geeky. Bye!